Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize that it took us a little longer to get on tonight. You know, you always have these technical glitches, and when we were beginning to stream onto YouTube for some reason, everything was freezing, so I had to redo everything. So that's why we're late. Not an excuse. Believe me, we want to get to you as quickly as we can. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers, and I want to welcome all of you to our fourth Virtual Playmakers Intensive, or VPI 4, Transformissions. Oh boy, I hope all is well. I am coming to you as live as we can be from high atop the glorious Thunderdome here in beautiful Midtown Manhattan. And it's just been sort of a rainy, miserable, overcast, foggy kind of a day. You know what? I've got the perfect remedy for that. And that is this play that you're going to see tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been such an incredible intensive. I am very proud of our artists and the fact that this is our fourth intensive, and they just get better and better. And I'm just so very happy that we could share this work with you. Tonight we have a beautiful play. I think this is such a beautiful play. I love our playwright, Tatiana G Rivera. Tatiana has worked with us for a number of years right now, and she just has this beautiful poetic way about her, and she has a really incredible writing style, and also sort of the style for the play, which I can't wait for you to see. The play is entitled "Do You See What I See?" And it was directed, oh my goodness, by an incredible and legendary artist, Ed Setrakian. So I'm so happy that he's working with us for the first time. So we have a stellar cast. Our cast tonight: Scott Katzman, AhDream Smith, John Little, Gaia Visnar. So without any further ado, I want to hand you over to our vocal guide to tonight's performance, our audio describer, the brilliant and dazzling Anne-Marie Morelli.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and again, welcome to TBTB's Transformissions. I'd like to remind everyone that during our virtual intensives, our stage is your computer screen. Our actors will appear in separate boxes on your screen. Tonight's play will have no insertion of audio description, but I will simply describe our characters. Tonight's Do You See What I See by Tatiana G Rivera, directed by Ed Setrakian, is featuring John Little as number 1, a man, mid-60s. His hair is a mix of gray and brown. It's cut short. He has a full gray mustache. He has brown eyes and wears wire-framed glasses. He is wearing a blue button-down shirt with a pullover sweater that is gray, and he's looking through a photo album throughout this entire piece. Gaia Visnar as number 2, a young woman in her mid-20s. She has long auburn hair, and it is put back in a braid, and it's laying down the right side of the screen. She has blue eyes. She is wearing a blue sweater and diamond stud earrings. She will be giving herself a manicure throughout the entire piece. Scott Katzman as number 3. He's mid-40s. He has short hair. It's mostly gray, but it has brown mixed in. He's clean-shaven, his eyes are blue, and he is wearing clear-framed glasses, a watch, and a dark blue t-shirt with light blue stripes. He's an author, and he is writing throughout the entire piece. AhDream Smith as number 4. She's mid-30s. She has black short hair that lies just at her shoulders and dark eyes. She's wearing a red button-down blouse with white stripes and dangling silver earrings and a gold ring. She'll be folding clothes throughout the entire piece. As the play begins, our characters are all wearing face masks. that they will remove as their stories are told. Without further ado, lights up.
Eye contact.
Eye contact.
I've never been great at eye contact.
I love eye contact.
It's sort of the gateway to the soul, right?
You can always tell who a person is by their eyes.
I'm more of a shifty, nervous, rapid blinker. People always think I'm lying, even when I'm telling the truth.
It's all in the eyes.
People always think I'm lying, even when I'm lying.
I never realized how much I loved eye contact until the mask came up.
Are they kind? Are they sensitive? Are they puffy from crying, or are they puffy from no sleep?
It's the first real connection you can make with someone, even before they open their mouth. I always feel like I say so much before I even say anything at all.
I was sitting on the train. It was pretty empty for being rush hour, even for COVID. But then he sat down in the seat facing me, and I looked up.
Okay, maybe I'm just not a social person to begin with. If we're being honest here, I thrive on limited human interaction. When the masks came on, I thought, great, another way not to talk to people. But no, the opposite happened.
I'm a casual smiler. Passing by someone in the street, should a grin. See a dog give a crazy face. And don't even get me started with smiling at babies. I could make a career smiling at babies.
It was at casual outdoor dining when it happened. I made a habit to support the diner around the corner from my apartment when I saw her.
Everyone's been locked away for too long, and it's making them all desperate to feel seen, to have some kind of connection, human interaction. All anyone is able to do anymore is give eye contact, and it's driving me nuts.
So anyway, I'm at the farmer's market when this bird suddenly just plops down on top of the tent I was shopping at. And I immediately knew something was wrong.
Now, normally I guess pre-pandemic me, would have glanced, smiled, flirted a bit if he was cute, and then let it go.
Except now I have a touch of the loneliness. Grocery and Amazon deliveries aren't doing it anymore. My aggressive introvertedness is feeling not so aggressive anymore.
I laughed when I walked out to the patio because there she was, sitting at the same table, just like every other time I ate there. I mean, it got to the point where we greeted each other, and she always had an extra place setting at the table, but she never had anyone with her.
So I went for a walk. I decided that was it. I needed air. I needed life. I needed to feel seen. Any more time stuck inside alone was going to turn me into a shut-in. And what the hell good would that do once the world opened up again? How was I ever going to have a conversation, an interaction, anything with another human being?
I couldn't figure it out right away. It was this beautiful gray bird, very regal, very majestic, very not wild. And I just kept pointing at it like, this is not normal.
But he sat down and we locked eyes, and it was like, God, it was like looking at the ocean sky after a storm. I mean, his eyes weren't one color. They were every color, layered and blended and swirling together into this beautiful mix of I don't even know.
So I said hello, sauntered over to my table and sat down, but she didn't reciprocate, which was really weird. I mean, we weren't best friends or anything, and we never said anything beyond, hello, how's it going? But this had become my pandemic cheers, and I was being brushed off by a regular, and that was kind of unacceptable.
As scared as I was about being around other people, of catching this disease, catching someone's eye, I went for a walk. I didn't have a particular destination in mind. I just told my feet to go. And what a great day to be outside, let me tell you.
I looked into his eyes and I was transported to our first date. We met at a bar, and you could tell we were both nervous, didn't want to commit to a full-on dinner until we knew there was some sort of connection. But immediately sat down and felt some sort of connection.
Then it hit me. African gray. This beautiful bird with this amazing red tail feather was just hanging out on top of a tent at the farmer's market. I kept thinking, this has got to be someone's bird. This is someone's pet, someone's very, very expensive pet.
But her head was down, so maybe she didn't see me, maybe she didn't hear me. And then I saw a tear fall into her soup.
The sun was out, people were laughing, dogs were jumping and playing. Aside from the masks, everything had a touch of normal. It was terrifying, and I immediately thought, maybe I should just go home. I am safe at home. No people at home, no COVID at home. Home is good.
So, 2 drinks in, we both verbalized that dinner was a sure bet. So we left the bar and walked in the rain, no umbrella, and fell into whatever place had an open table and didn't mind 2 people drenched in the rain and young in love.
So the waiter came by and asked me for my order, but I couldn't stop staring at this woman. What was wrong? Why didn't she say hi? And why was she crying? This woman, I felt like I'd both known forever and not at all, was hurting, and I needed to know why.
Now, I don't really feel the need to give myself credit here, but I was making somewhat of a scene about this bird, so much so that a crowd started to form in the market. People taking pictures, trying to coax him down, Googling what snacks they like so that we could grab it and see if it had a tag or anything.
But no, I came outside for some kind of proof of life, either my own or the world's. So my feet took me to the park, and I found an empty bench outside the dog play area, and I sat down.
Then we were on vacation, Italy. I had always wanted to go. Specifically, I had always wanted to go with someone I was in love with. And there I was, with the love of my life, taking in the Arno and all its splendor, with his arms wrapped around me, and everything in my world was perfect.
I've got my eye on this bird, but my mind is racing. Is there a lost bird poster somewhere? Didn't I remember seeing one the other day? Shit. I always want to be one of those people who take pictures of the lost posters in hope I could one day reunite someone with their lost pet. But honestly, I'm so damn tied into my phone, I barely notice when someone walks past me in the street.
After his 3rd attempt to take my order, he noticed that I was staring at this woman.
That's when someone comes up to me telling me there's a poster looking for an African gray just around the corner. And before I could ask someone to help, she sends her son to run and grab it.
The bench was far enough away from the action that I didn't feel like I was too close to people or their COVID danger zones. But it was also at this great vantage point to expose me to some good quality life action. Running and jogging, bicyclists, dogs and their owners, kids in strollers. And I mean, that was the point, right? To watch life happen. To pretend that by observing, I too was somehow participating.
His arms wrapped around me. He grabs my left hand and slips a ring on my finger. He whispers in my ear the words I've wanted to hear him say since that first night at the bar. And I start crying.
So anyway, this woman taps me on the shoulder and I nearly shit myself.
Oh, you're staring at Margaret, right? The waiter asks. Oh, was that her name? I say. Yeah, you've been coming round here pretty regularly, and you've seen her before, right? I said, oh yeah. Well, she normally says hi to me, but I guess she's feeling a little down today, huh?
Now I'm ready to lose it. My heart is racing. The kid flies back with the poster 2 minutes later, and the picture of the bird in the poster exactly matches this bird on the tent. And now I'm no bird expert, but the chances of this being the bird, very high. So I pull out my phone and my hands are shaking, and I somehow dial the number, and faster than I could prepare myself for, a woman answers.
You notice how she always has a second set of tableware? I nod. So the waiter proceeds to tell me that Margaret has been eating at this diner with her husband every weekday at 4 p.m. for the last 17 years. She always orders the same thing, chicken noodle soup and a ham on rye with pickles on the side. But her husband, on the other hand, always goes through the entire menu, starting from the first item, trying the next thing on the list each day until he got to the end. And then he would start all over again.
She rambles, oh, sorry, did I scare you? Didn't mean to. Just wanted to ask if it would be okay for me to tie my dog to this bench. Buster hates the dog park. He hates interactions with other dogs. He won't even look at them. He'll sit there and pretend they don't exist. But when you are in a dog park with 12 dogs running around in an enclosed area, pretending isn't so easy. Now, my other dog, Sushi, loves the dog park. And he shouldn't have to suffer just because Buster is an emotional wreck. So I'll just tie Buster up here while Sushi and I go inside. You don't mind, right?
Married. We are married and in absolute bliss. I mean, how could I have gotten so lucky to meet this amazing creature? We're 5 years in, planting flowers in the backyard on a Saturday morning. He brings me some lemonade made from our lemon tree, a gift from his parents to remind us that something beautiful can always be made from something sour.
And then she's gone. Didn't even bother to wait for an answer. She just, poof, left me there with Buster.
Hi, I'm at the farmers market on 79 and 34th Fourth Ave, and I think I'm staring at your bird.
And then he tells me that last March, the husband caught COVID. And even though it didn't seem so bad at first, the hospital wanted to keep him under observation because he'd had issues with pneumonia in the past. And then they kept him a little longer, and then a little longer, and a little longer.
And Buster stands there, staring me down, expecting something.
2 kids in, things start to shift. He's less patient with me. He's stressed about work, about the IVF procedures that cost us everything we saved to renovate the house. At first, we couldn't get pregnant. Then we finally did, and it didn't stick. Then we lost the second, and then we lost the third. And all I wanted was to be a mother. So I was desperate to try anything.
Well, he's just sitting there hanging out, and we try to get him down, but he won't budge. And this woman is frantic. She tells me she's running out of her house and will be there in 10 minutes.
Buster is forcing me to make eye contact with him, but also not breaking the eye contact because he's waiting for what? I don't know. Acknowledgement, encouragement, some sort of reassurance that I'm that I'm not up to any funny business.
And every day, still, Margaret would come into the diner, order her soup and her ham on rye, and she'd ask the restaurant to set an extra plate for her husband, who would surely be joining her again any day now. But he never did.
10 minutes had never felt so long. Determined not to lose this bird, I asked the crowd of people not to swarm around the market, just in case the bird got scared enough to fly away. But there's always one person who is more important than everyone else, and she plowed through, knocking the tent leg with her cart, and the bird flipped out.
Then it's our daughter's high school graduation. I'm sitting in the bleachers cheering for my baby girl, alone. We had lost our son when he was 3 to a freak accident, and that was too much for my husband, now ex-husband. He packed his bags and never looked back.
I snapped. I can't handle it anymore. God, Buster, what? Why are you staring at me? What do you want from me? You want to sit on the bench? Sit on the bench. You want to stand there? Then stand there. Just stop staring at me.
Apparently, today was the day she asked the restaurant to keep the second place setting. Last night, her husband's body had been through enough, and he let go. So she'd only be dining for one from now on.
Thankfully, the bird just flew into the nearby tree, and because of that red feather, I was able to spot him through the leaves immediately. And that's when I see a woman running down the block, screaming, "Where's my bird? Who's seen my bird?"
And I looked up at the waiter, who's got tears running down his face, and I go to give him my napkin before I realize that I'm crying too over someone I didn't even know. And I want to hug him, grab his hand, something, anything. I desperately need some comfort, but I can't. No one can.
And then I'm sitting alone in our once lush backyard, staring at the lemon tree that meant something once upon a time, staring at the lemons rotting on the ground, because I stopped bothering to do anything with them when he stopped bothering to do anything about us. I think, how did I get here? How did we go from that beautiful rainy night where I fell in love to sitting here alone, 4 babies in the ground, and the love of my life off living with the new love of his life?
So Buster keeps staring, naturally, and I give up and decide to just sit back and try my best to ignore him. That's when he gives me a small but powerful rough, and he hops up onto the bench, sidles up next to me, and gently places his paw on my leg.
I frantically wave my arms, and she sees me. She looks at the tent, but I point out where he is, in the tree. She calls out, "Jack, Jack, baby, is that you?" And all we hear is the most beautiful whistle in response. And she falls to the ground.
I finally order. The waiter leaves. And I sit there going over and over in my head anything I can do for her. I can't tell her how sorry I am for her loss. I don't even know her. I can't ask to sit at her table because there's this goddamn pandemic. So I write her a note on a napkin. And when the waiter comes back with my drinks, I ask him to give it to her.
And without me even realizing that I'm doing it, I gently place my hand on Buster.
Jack makes his way down the tree, and when he's close enough, flies into her hand and immediately nuzzles into her neck. And she looks at me with those swollen eyes and tells me he flew out by accident and had been missing for 3 days. In the 8 years she had him, he never once stepped out the window. But for some reason, 3 days prior, he just flew. And every day she'd walk up and down the streets, talking to anyone on the phone, on the off chance that Jack could hear her voice and call out to her. And before I knew what I was doing, I'm holding her and we're crying into each other.
And I snapped right out of it. And suddenly I'm back on the train, still staring into his beautiful eyes, except now they're worried. He's looking at me like I've completely lost it. We pull into the next stop and he gets up and hands me a tissue and gets off. And the next person sits down across from me and asks me if I'm okay.
And we sit there together for minutes, hours, seconds, I don't even know. Not saying anything to each other, not even looking at each other, but saying so much. And I start to cry.
How do you explain to someone that you've just lived an entire lifetime with a complete stranger in just 100-block distance without sounding like you're completely off the rails?
And Buster starts to whimper. And he scoots in just a bit closer and my arms wrap around him just a bit tighter. And we exist together in that moment.
She reads the note and then looks up at me and nods. The waiter comes back with my food and asks me what I wrote. And I told him I wrote to her that I was feeling really lonely and I was wondering if she wouldn't mind having lunch with me from our respective tables. That we wouldn't have to talk, but if we could just look at each other here and there during our meals so that neither one of us would have to dine alone. So I lifted my fork and I toasted her and she lifted her sandwich and we watched each other while we ate.
In months of zero human connection, suddenly I felt
loved, understood, seen.
It felt like for the first time in a long time that I was physically close to another human being.
Like my heart could feel again. That for those 10 minutes of eye contact, it allowed me to remember what it was like to live life like normal.
feel a little bit like life was before the world shut down.
That I could make a connection, as shy as I am, during a time when no one could connect.
It's like these masks we were forced to wear to protect ourselves
Forced us to take down the masks we were already wearing.
Eye contact.
Eye contact.
It's certainly something, ain't it?
They have all replaced their face masks. End of play.
I don't know what to say about that. I don't know how to respond other than to say that's an amazing play. Come on out, everyone, please. Oh my goodness, AhDream, John Little, AhDream, oh my goodness, Scott Katzman, Gaia, Visnar. Oh my goodness, thank you all so much. Oh my goodness, that is such a beautiful. It's such a beautiful play, such a beautiful piece. But you guys just, you were all so engaging, and just to see how you were all connected, and even when you were moving to doing whatever it is you were doing, you were still connected. It was just amazing. I have to apologize. Our playwright Tatiana Rivera could not be here tonight. Unfortunately, she was called away. Had a bit of an emergency, so I apologize that you won't get a chance to hear her talk. But I think you'll learn a lot about her through. Well, you know a lot about her through her work, but when you talk to all of the artists tonight. I want to start with you, Ed, because my goodness, this is the first time you're actually working with us, but you're directing with us, and I don't know how much online stuff you've done. Have you done a lot of online directing, online theater?
No, not much. No, most of my stuff has been on stage. Mm-hmm. I've done some television work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I know that this is a very, very different medium. I think that I've been saying it for the last couple of nights. When we started doing these intensives, I looked at this as a lifeboat. This was just a way that we could get through the next couple of months or however long it was going to be, and we could do work that would remain productive, and, to keep our artists working and, all of that. And I didn't realize the power of it. What about you? How did you feel about it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think great piece. What she's done, she's written 4 long monologues, and then she broke them up, visually. So that makes it interesting to get the linkage going. The important thing that I wanted all the actors to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Because it had to flow. Mm-hmm. I felt it was essential that it flow. And sometimes I would tell the actor, all right, in order to, one thing I want you to do is when you're into something, sustain the mood. Mm-hmm. Sustain the mood after you've finished.
Yeah.
And almost link it to the next time you speak, mm-hmm. so that the piece has a connection, a flow. It's important that it flows. Mm-hmm. So that I say that after you finish your speech, the next person that speaks, punch the first line. So the focus goes on to you. It was things like that I had to do. Mm-hmm. Just a matter of keeping the fluidity of this piece going. That was very essential for me, And then these 4 terrific actors. Oh my God. I mean, they're so good. They are so rich. I'm telling you, I'm just so impressed by it. I really am. And thankful. Guys, thank you so much. I hope we can work together sometimes in another venue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's so, again, I know we have a lot. We can certainly thank Tatiana's writing and your direction, but the performances were so rich and so layered. And the through lines, you just were, everybody was so engaged. Like you were just always following. It just was so beautiful. I want to sort of submit something to you guys, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I know Tatiana for a number of years, and she's written plays that are similar to this style before. What I find so exciting about them, first of all, she's a beautiful writer, but there's a musicality about all of this. I feel it's like I'm witnessing a quartet performing. And even though your stories are all very, very different and you're all sort of in different places, they all they swirl together and they all connect, which I love because it sort of then underscores it underscores the main theme of what I think this piece is, which is connection and how much we need connection. And all of it remains connected. So John, tell me what it was like for you to could you guys explain as well, when Tatiana wrote this, she had spoken to you all, but I don't think she had in her head she didn't assign, okay, John, you're number 1, and Scott, you're 3, and AhDream, you're number 4. She let you read it and sort of pick the roles that you gravitated towards. Why? Tell me about what made you want to tell this story that you told.
I just think it's a fascinating character, and I love this idea that she was getting across. Of seeing someone in this frustration of not being able to connect with that person, like we've all been witnessing for the last year. And one thing that was fascinating about her process was she came up with the script very quickly. And then between the first draft of the script and the second draft, she completely rewrote Scott's character. It was amazing. And I thought, she is an amazing playwright. I mean, I love the writing, and I just think she was wonderful to create these 4 disparate characters and somehow bring the stories together. I really think she's a terrific playwright.
Yeah, without a doubt, absolutely. And again, I just love this style that she's incorporated, and to set that against so many other different styles that are running throughout this intensive. It's just it's so beautiful. AhDream, I want to ask you next. Because I have to say I've never had the actual pleasure to meet AhDream in person. But I cannot wait to meet you in person, because I just think you are so incredible, such an incredible person, such an incredible artist. And oh my God. So you just glow, you just radiate this, you're just amazing. Tell me what your experience was in this, because this is, I think, your 3rd intensive with us, our 3rd virtual? Second, third, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's a 3rd.
Yeah.
It was great. So Tatiana talked to each person about their experience and of what was going on in the pandemic, and I end up just talking about love in the pandemic. My brother and his wife, my sister, they had a baby during this craziness. And so
congratulations, Auntie.
Yeah. Thank you. And so, we were just talking about, I feel like a lot of people were like, oh, I wonder how many pandemic babies are gonna come from this, but also just pandemic relationships. In a world where you can't do your traditional dating, you can't go out to, let's go to dinner or whatever. How do you then, connect? And for me, I felt like, what I was sharing with her is, I think it actually removes a lot of the distractions, because all you have is the conversation. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's the foundational bottom line of going out on dates or to the movies or what have you, is to get to know this person. And I feel like the pandemic really shut down a lot of distractions, and it's just how do you now cultivate that level of intimacy? And a couple of the things that I share with her, line wise, ended up in the play, and I was like, girl, this is so cool. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, and I think it's so fascinating too that when we all got together as a cast, she was just like, yeah, you know, pick whichever character you want. And everybody went for their own character. Like there was no person that was like John and I weren't both like, I want to be number one. I want to be number one. Everybody was like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Any contention? No, everybody. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. I really did. And when I read it, you know, for me, I read it and I kind of read it and I puzzled it together. I said, I think, you know, I kept thinking it would be interesting to see somebody play against the type that I think they are. But I'm so glad that didn't happen in this, because you guys, because you associate so much and you really do relate to these characters, you are just so real and so engaging. And it actually shows, again, the power of this medium, because without doing a lot of movement, without a lot of anything, you just hold us. And it really, and because I get to really see up close, you know, thoughts just when they dance across your eyes, you feel them. They kind of bubble right out to the surface.
Well, you know, there's this entire thing, in a way, is a happy accident.
Yeah.
By that I mean, one was a Jed Harris that said that successful directing is 95% casting, right? So by a happy accident, I mean, these actors, I did not choose. I mean, they were there. Yeah. They were given to me. So it was a happy accident.
Yeah. You know? That's what I love about this Intensa too. The fact that it is random. Like, you know, I could not have cast this play better if I sat there and said, oh, yeah,
no.
Just random and just sort of trusting all of you as artists, and everybody just was there. Everybody delivers. Everybody, and that's a gift. That's a gift to me. It's a gift to all of us. So thank you. Gaia, how are you? It's in the middle of the night for you.
Hey, it is. It's 1:30. It's 1:30. Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Well, I can't wait for you to come back. I know that you
I know I'm coming back soon, but it is TBTB really creates this magic, and the projects that happen, the plays that are written for people, it just magically works out in the best possible way. No. So it's you know, it's always a pleasure to be a part of this, and a lot of happy accidents. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was drawn to the bird monologue immediately. It's connection with animals is something that I felt very comforting in this time, especially being stuck in Slovenia, which is a beautiful country, small but beautiful, a lot of nature, and being with my dog, who has been trying to get into the room as we were doing the play. And he was like on the door, and I was just waiting for him to start barking. But yeah, he didn't. He played with us too. Okay. But anyway, and I've observed all the animals, you know, they don't know about the pandemic. The nature hasn't really changed much. And they just live, and they love, and they want to eat, and they make contact with us, and they get lost, and they get found, you know. Yeah. And we get so frustrated with the whole world thing and watching the news, and oh my God, what's going to happen next? This stress of tomorrow, that we forget to be in the moment and forget the beautiful nature's naturalistic parts of every day, and the love and the connection, which the play is about. So, I think it's, I love my monologue. I think it's beautiful. I loved all of them. And I think they're intertwined and connect very wisely.
Impeccably. It's really, really beautiful. And I agree with you. I love what you were saying about animals, you know. Human animals, we're such a complicated species. And we tend, you know, our greatest gift is this computer that we carry on our shoulders, because it can do so many beautiful things, and it creates so many beautiful things. But it's also our worst enemy, because it forces us to think too much. It forces us to form decisions and conclusions and shut people out instead of just being and saying, yeah, just let's find the path. Let's just be happy. Let's, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Like that just makes life so much easier. So I think we have a lot of lessons to learn in that regard. Oh, and you have another animal story, Scott. Oh my God. I am so happy that you're doing this, Scott. I'm sorry. I just need to let you guys know. I've known Scott for many years. He's an incredible artist, really wonderful playwright, wonderful actor. And he sort of is now, has his day job, his day career. But it's like, you got to get back into this because you're too good to and I'm so happy that you did this. How did this feel?
I had a lot of trepidation and it felt great. You get back in there to the first rehearsal and, you think what you're going to miss is the performance and all that stuff. And ultimately, I think what I missed or what was reminded is that I missed the camaraderie, the exploration, the feeling that you're building something from the ground up. All of those things were sort of were really the pleasure points for me. I mean, it didn't hurt that everybody was great to work with and that it was a great play. I mean, all the sort of outside components were sort of all lined up well, so that makes it even better. But it was thank you for nudging me back towards it, and it was a great opportunity and a great experience to sort of dip my toe back into the pool.
Well, you are very, very gifted, and I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see that go to waste. I think it's important that we all have an opportunity. You got some. You got a great light. You don't hide that light. You got to keep it.
Very kind of you to say.
Yeah. So I'm so grateful to all of you. I didn't do anything. My thing was we came up with this idea and just said, yeah, let's call together a really great group of artists and let them have at it. And you are inspiring, but you also elevate our work. You elevate the company's mission, but you elevate our work because it's so good.
Before I forget, I just want to thank you for what you've done with this organization.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal all the way. God.
And all the opportunities that you create in the face of this world that's so stressed right now. The ability to keep creating opportunities and having that vision to move forward is I think that's what inspires everyone to sort of want to bring their A game and want to be involved.
I say it every night. I will say it again tonight, and it will be my thesis statement for our next talk back within the next hour, which is we as artists, we can change the world. We have that potential. The work we do is very powerful. It is very important. It serves to what is theater? It serves to hold a mirror up to reality. It serves to allow us to feel and to emote and to express. And most importantly, it allows us to learn. Without being preached at, you can teach the same lessons in a much more subtle, empathetic way that people walk out. Now they're able to come to realizations in their own way, in their own time. And those evoke lasting change. So that's why I think we do what we do. And I could not be happier and prouder of being an artist at a certain point and any more in my life than I am right now. So, and knowing you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. We talk a little too much. My apologies. I just want to thank all of you for watching tonight. If you liked what you saw, and you had to, I'm sorry, you had to. Please tell your friends, tell your families. This is Thursday. We have 3 more performances left. 3 other giant grand finale fireworks displays. So make sure you tell everyone to come and see them. Friend us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit our website, tbtb.org.
More performance.
If you really like us, click the donate button at the top of the page. That way you become partners with us. And then you can come and see our work. And if you support us, that doesn't just mean you're giving us money. That means you are invested in the work that we're doing. And that's a great gift. But most importantly, just being here, that helps so much. Tomorrow, Friday night, we have got another amazing show. The play was written by Garrett Zerker and directed by Stephen Drapicki, who has worked with many, many times. This is our first time working with Garrett. And the play is called The Opez Show. And I'm so excited about it because all of the artists are so wonderful. And we actually, the cast is, it's basically an all-deaf cast. We will have people voicing some of the roles just for the benefit of accessibility. But I just am so excited to be working with these artists, and I'm so happy to be sharing them. So tomorrow night, we are going to be doing The Opez Show, written by Garrett Zerker, directed by Stephen Drapicki, with an incredible cast. Courage Bacchus, Veronica Cruz, Dickie Hartz, Christopher Ambrosiano, AhDream Smith. You're going to be, you won't see her, but you'll hear her. That's incredible. And Hiba Tulan. So please tune in, 7:30 here, 8:30 on the Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Come join us on the other channel. We're going to be on in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.